Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Is it okay to start now?
Go ahead, Amany. It's your class.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Thanks for the invitation. I'm so happy to be with you and see you in this blessed time, Ramadan. And I pray to Allah to bring abundant blessings to everyone and to their loved ones and family. So let us start with a little short glorification for Allah, zikr, in order to tune our hearts. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وهو العلي العظيم سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وهو العلي العظيم سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله وهو العلي العظيم. Ramadan is a special time for you to go to your higher physician, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to your merciful and caring physician. Just as we go annually to our doctors, we annually should turn our hearts and minds wholeheartedly to Allah. And Allah prescribed fasting to us if we are healthy, but it is not like Allah wants to bribe us or torture us, so we will not eat and will not drink, will not involve in sexual activities from dusk to sunset. But it has really a beautiful effect on us. For example, when we stop eating food and drinking liquids, it is almost we are stopping the dense matter. You know, liquid and food are both solid and a kind of dense form of matter. So it is like we are getting closer to our subtle selves, to our subtle bodies. We breathe the air, and the air is more subtle matter. So we are actually literally getting rid of some of our dense matter. You know, when we don't eat and drink, we burn stored energy because we don't rely now in something outside to take as a fuel to burn. So the body starts naturally to burn some of the stored energy. It is stored in form of fat and things like that, but the body starts to burn it. Burning this extra storage of energy has also an emotional effect. It is not only that you are getting rid of some weight or something like that, but it has an emotional effect, because rather than using this extra energy within you, and we all tend to, many of us overeat a little bit, so we have stored the energy. What do we use our energy? We use our energy in all activities we do, including how we feel or process our emotions, how we think, how we act. All of this exhausts energy. So if we have extra energy and we don't know how to do it or release it in a healthy way in good activities, it is like it is burning out of us this energy. So we feel drained. If you are fasting this year and you are a healthy human being and you're fasting, you may feel drained, especially in the beginning of Ramadan, because you're not used to it and your body is burning extra stored energy. So of course you feel drained a little bit, but that is in the beginning. After that you feel energized actually. But that is actually almost like Allah is doing the work for you. There is a hadith in which Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam would say, all acts of worship belongs to the human being. But Allah says in Hadith Qudsi, fasting belongs to me, and I will reward for it. So if you contemplate a little bit the meaning of that, all acts of worship like prayer or giving charity or doing some rituals, you are acting something. But in Ramadan, it is almost you're pausing from some acts such as eating and drinking. So this pause is you're handing your body to Allah, where the forces of nature that Allah created works in you to release you of that excessive stored energy that you may be using to involve in emotional process in an unhealthy way, or you are involving in some acts that may be not necessarily good for you. So Ramadan comes as a way to release you from some burden, from some of this stored energy. So you will be lighter, you will have the enough energy to use what is necessary and to do what is necessary, especially if you combine the fasting with reciting Quran or doing zikr, involving in reciting the Quran and trying to understand it, involving in good activities such as giving charity and so forth. All of these acts help also your mind. Fasting has an effect on the mind. First, it releases that extra energy. Second, when we replace our thoughts with the remembrance of Allah, then we're occupying our mind in a healthy way that will actually results, as scientists tells us, it results in having neuroplasticity or brain plasticity, and it enhances your learning skills as well as your memory. So those are all subtle aspects of fasting. If you involve in one thought, you can't actually involve in another thought, and your mind is jumping from one thought to another all the time. So when we fast, we occupy our minds with the energy it has in remembering Allah, in contemplating the holy words, and so it creates literally new neurons inside us, and it creates within us a mental state that is healthy. Intermittent fasting has a lot of benefits, as many scientists told us, and this intermittent fasting can help even people with mental illness, especially people with schizophrenia and things like that. It is proven now by scientific studies that intermittent fasting, which means to fast a period of time, lasts to 16 hours maximum, which is what Ramadan tells us to do. All of that makes our body healthy, because again it renovates the cells within us, and it makes our mind healthy, especially when we combine the fasting with the other practices. People who are working hard, exhausting energy, and cannot fast, or people who are sick or traveling, Allah is merciful. Since they are already doing that work of releasing this energy, whether to resist an illness or to travel or working very hard in a way that exhausts the body, and they can't fast, Allah is merciful. He didn't send the Quran or the teaching for us to torture us, as he says in the Quran. He's the most compassionate, the most merciful. So Allah releases those people, since they are already burning and releasing this energy, stored energy, in another way. So Allah rewards us by fasting in the physical level, in the mental level, and in the spiritual level, because only the spirit does not eat and drink. So again, we are getting rid of dense matter and becoming more subtle, more closer to our nature as spirits from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah also makes these laws of nature to work within ourselves, so our microbes or the good bacteria and the bad bacteria in our body, they actually get balanced. So studies also shows that intermittent fasting, such as that of Ramadan, can help you restore your healthy bacteria. But in the process, some of the not healthy bacteria might be released. And that is the cause of sometimes people who fast have an odor to their mouths, to their breasts. There is an odor which Allah describes in a Hadith Qudsi as better than musk. In Allah's view, this odor that might not be so nice is as beautiful as musk, or even better. How can we understand that? You know, when a mother, for example, a loving mother, she's changing the diaper for her baby, the mother will really wanting the baby to be well. And in the process of changing for the baby, her love does not make her feel the offense. She just wants to comfort the baby. She might be singing for the baby. She might be showing love and assurance to the baby. And she does what is required out of love to restore the wellness, the purity, the comfort for her beloved. Well, we are the children to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're like his children, his creation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no room for any unpleasantness towards his beloved. We are the beloved of Allah. And when Allah is purifying our bodies through the fasting process, to him it's a pleasing, it is a beautiful process. If to Allah, he knows that he's doing it for our well-being, and he's happy to do it for us. So through the laws of the nature that he created. So subhanallah, that's how Allah wanting to show us that all of this process is for our wellness, and it is a beautiful process in his view. So that is for the person who's fasting. When you have that consciousness of being with Allah, you also will feel the beauty of the process, and you will not even smell the offensive smell, because you are with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you see things from the divine seeing. By the divine seeing, you look at things and they look beautiful if you are with Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful to us. The Prophet ﷺ said during the Ramadan, the evil one or the evil whisperers are chained, and the gates of hellfire are closed, and the angels are released. They pray for the people who pray, they ask forgiveness for them, they ask blessings for them, and the doors of the garden are opened. So again, think of it even in this very literal level. When your body releases that storage of energy and you are engaged in remembering Allah and you become conscious of Allah, of course, these gates are closed within you, the gates that you exhaust your extra energy in it. Like you exhaust your extra energy in negative emotions, for example. You exhaust your extra energy in blame, in self-blame or self-hate, or you exhaust this extra energy in activities that are not maybe very beneficial or even harmful. So when you engage yourself during Ramadan in activities that will nourish your soul and nourish your body, these gates within you, the gates of hellfire, are closed, and the whispers are chained. The whisperers are chained. The whisperers within you that again come from this excessive energy and from also outer impact of the world that kind of make these negative thoughts within you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribed fasting for us to help us. So that's one way to look at it. So how can we make Ramadan really fruitful for us? Last Ramadan, I actually gave a class about mental fasting. Mental fasting is looking at the subtle levels of the qualities that are godly qualities, that are part of our innate nature. And sometimes we don't know these qualities well, we confuse them, or they are covered up by childhood experiences, by our lower desires or fears, and they are covered up. They remain dormant, not realized, not expressed, not known. So one way to engage in Ramadan is to have that mental checkup or mental fasting. How? For example, if we understand that every quality that is godly quality or every virtue lies between two extremes. For example, if we want to be frugal and manage our financial affairs really well, we might go to extreme and become misers, to the degree we deprive ourselves or others, or not giving a charity enough, or things like that. Comes from fear. So if we want to be generous, we might also confuse generosity and we overgive, not in the wise way, not in the right time or the right way. And so our generosity, which is good intention, might turn to squander. Also, we all want to have hope, but sometimes our hope is not accompanied by realistic expectation, and it becomes wishful thinking or fantasy. So we need to fast from fantasy. We need to fast from having wishful thinking, but we need to always have hope, because hope is from Allah. We cannot have despair on the other extreme, but we should have trust in Allah and caution. We should be cautious. We should okay to feel sad, because sadness is a way of learning just as happiness. They are part of life They are part of who we are. So to feel sad is okay, but to go to extreme of agony, then you turn towards despair, and that's an extreme. And these extremes are illusions. We want to fast from the illusions because despair makes us feel there is no hope, there is no mercy, there is no love. Uh, I am so bad, I am worthless, I can't do anything. And it gets us into that illusion. So we need to fast from these qualities that are extreme qualities and take us from who we truly are, and cover our vision of life so we can see life as it is really is. It takes us far from Allah, the truly dear, Al-Haq. So we need to engage in that mental fasting by contemplating ourselves and see, being authentic with ourselves or authentic with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See, I have this weakness, or I have this habit of thinking that I am always in wishful thinking, or I'm always towards despair and pessimism, or maybe I feel I spend the money not wisely, or it could be that I want to be a caring person, but I end up becoming an intruder in people's lives that not welcomed. So how can I be caring person but not to the extreme to become an intruder in people's life where they don't need my help? How, for example, I can be aspiring to become like someone I admire, a Sufi teacher, or someone who's successful and creative, or someone who's resourceful, or a person that I know who's very patient. How can I aspire to be like them? Aspiration is a beautiful quality from Allah. It keeps us moving, learning, and embracing new qualities. But how can I be aspiring and without feeling jealous or without even feeling envious? By focusing on the qualities, not on the material aspect of success. So I'm talking about it's okay to aspire to learn from people good things, and to see that person have a sense of humor, makes life easier, or that person is more generous. So how can I fast? How can I fast from being jealous? By breaking my fast with aspiration, so I can have healthy aspiration to grow and to find these qualities within me. How can I fast from, for example, becoming a good leader without going to the extreme of wanting to control everything and everyone and becoming a dictator? And how can I fast from becoming subservient and be a leader of my own life and not to be subservient to someone else? Because Allah wants us to have dignity. Allah wants us to have these virtues that are ours by innate nature, that He gifted us with. He wants everyone to live in dignity. So to become subservient to someone else or subordinate to someone else is different than being in harmony. So there is these subtle levels, and these subtle levels of the qualities differ also from some situation to situation, time to time, because some extreme situation may demand extreme action. So most of the time we are in what I call autopilot mood. We don't really contemplate these things, or we don't really understand it sometimes. So involving in fasting and in mental fasting by doing the zikr, the recitation of the Quran, and other acts of worship, then we can, Allah can shed that light to us, so we can have this learning capacity. As I said, there is neuroplasticity that happens during fasting. There is neuroplasticity that happens in the brain, which means we are able to form new ideas. We are forming new concepts. So when we involve in the prayer, asking Allah to shed light, what is it that I need to fast from Allah this Ramadan? Maybe that's a question. You should enter Ramadan by saying, show me Allah in a merciful way, not to be again so harsh in yourself, but to be merciful and forgiving with yourself, as you put it in the hands of Allah. I have this habit, Allah. Show me how can I have strength from you to break this unhealthy habit. Show me, Allah, how can I see what I need to change within myself, and because I don't know how to do it alone. So when we come to Ramadan with that attitude that fasting is not only to stop food and drink, but also maybe come out of Ramadan forgiving our past mistakes and having new concepts, new qualities, new way to look at life, then Ramadan can become more and more fruitful. Because as the Prophet ﷺ said, there are levels of fasting, and some people, they don't gain anything from fasting except hunger and thirst. So we don't want to be among those people. We want Ramadan to be fruitful to us here and now. Here and now, we need to see authentically what is it in me that maybe I need to let go of. What is it that I can embrace that is new and will be fruitful to me and will bring a difference in my life, and it's a beautiful quality that I need to learn to embrace. So these are type of fasting that we would like to engage in. One way to help you do that is calling or invoking the beautiful names of Allah. So one way to look at the 99 names, to say each day of Ramadan, I'm going to contemplate or invoke also 3 of those qualities. So by the end of Ramadan, you have done all the qualities, inshallah. So you can take 3 of these qualities and ask Allah to bring their lights within you, to bring deep understanding, to help you become their representatives, their servants, because only then will you feel fulfilled and content. So, for example, if we feel insecure, really it results in acting in an arrogant way or a boastful way in order to have this self-defense and feel more secure or more in control. So by invoking Allah's name, Ya Salam, the one who brings, or Ya Mu'min, peace, the one who brings the peace, As-Salam, the one who brings security and faith, is Al-Mu'min. So we ask Allah to bring that within us, that sense of peace and security in Allah's forgiveness, in Allah's abundance, to Allah bring peace to our restless mind that causes us to act in certain ways. And we ask Allah's aid by invoking these 2 names, and maybe Al-Hadi to bring the guidance. Then if we take those 3 names and invoke them, contemplate their meanings, and ask Allah to shed their lights, then we come out of Ramadan feeling more secure, feeling more at peace, having some guidance of how to tackle some of the real problems we're facing in our lives. So every day, if you take, for example, Al-Shakur, the one who is thankful, we all, for example, always desiring something because Allah is always creating. So desires are a way to move us, to function in the world, to do things in the world. If you have no desire, you sit at home, our world remains as it is. But Allah is a creator. He doesn't cease to create. So he always wants to use us to do something beautiful. So desires are something beautiful if we understand it in a deep way and relate it to Allah and to the qualities of Allah. Why we're desiring something? We're desiring something because some of the divine qualities want to manifest through us. So if we understand that, and we want to be effective in serving Allah through pursuing these desires in a holy way, then Allah will shed His life. So when we call upon Allah Ash-Shakur, the thankful, we're asking Allah to also help us as we pursue new things we wish for or we want to do, to also don't lose sight of the abundance we have, of the more or the many little countless blessings we have. We all have countless blessings, but we usually focus on what is not there. So by calling Allah Ash-Shakur, the one who bestows gratitude, a sense of gratitude, a sense of thankfulness, then you are asking Allah to shed that light within you to see these blessings, to acknowledge these blessings, to pay attention to these blessings as you are looking to solve problems, as you are looking to pursue something new, as you are looking to fulfill some of the desires within you. This balance the creator. So the creator is Al-Khaliq. Allah is Al-Khaliq. He creates something out of something else. And he wants to use us to create also, to create things in life, to create actions in many different fields, everyone according to where they are. So if we balance that desire to experience and to do and to create something new with acknowledging what is already here and now and not to lose sight, then those names will bring that light and will be able to become aware and be thankful, the representative of the grateful, the thankful, or the representative of the essence of gratitude, but at the same time, the representative of the creator who acts and who wants to create new things in life, new expressions, new inventing things, new art, new science inventions, or just new expressions by expressing your little acts of kindness. It doesn't have to always be great. Small acts of kindness also are divine expressions. And if everyone does their own small acts of kindness, then the world is full of abundant small acts of kindness, and many of our problems will be solved. So take Ramadan as a way to contemplate these subtle levels within yourselves, but not on your own, because on your own it will be painful. Do it by Allah's aid, by invoking Allah's names, by invoking Allah's help. Because when we contemplate ourselves by ourselves, then we're harsh against ourselves more than Allah. And we have no strength, have no way out, and we feel horrible. But when we turn to Allah, to a power greater than us, to the source of everything, asking Him in a vulnerable way for our needs, then Allah will provide for us these qualities that we are looking for. Our hearts are yearning for these qualities. Our hearts are longing, are thirsty for love, for justice, for compassion between ourselves, for love, for patience, for creativity, for solutions. And Allah is the provider of all of that. So I invite you this Ramadan to call upon Allah's names, 3 of them each day, and to ask Allah to shed the light of these qualities in order to help you to change from within, to transform, to become His representative. And part of it, you will also call upon Allah's names, Al-Ghafur, Al-Ghaffar, Al-Afu, which have the meaning of the one who often forgives, the one who pardon and erase all mistakes. So when you call upon these names, you're asking Allah to help you forgive others, but you're asking Allah to help you to be forgiven by others, because we all do mistakes. And more importantly, you're asking Allah to make you experience the essence of forgiveness for your own self. So Allah wants us to bring ourselves to accountability, but not to the degree of despair, of feeling worthless, of feeling we are so bad and so evil. So how to balance those? By Allah's beautiful qualities and names. Allah is Al-Hasib, who, look at every details and everything is brought to accountability. But He's also the forgiver. He's also the just, the compassionate, the merciful. So if every day you call upon 3 names and you contemplate these qualities and the balance and the subtle levels of these qualities, then write whatever comes to you of inspirations, of understanding, and inshallah, you come out of Ramadan having better understanding of who you are, better understanding of people. Once you know yourself, you will know other people. You will have compassion for other people when you know yourself, because we are all alike. And then you will know Allah, because you are a spirit from Allah. Or when you know yourself, then you know your Creator. You know your masterful nurturer. You know why Allah put you in certain situations. Might be hardship, it might be past experience that are unpleasant, but when Allah sheds light into that, then you can see the wisdom behind it. You can see how He was holding you all the way. He's still holding you all the way now and here. And once these fruits blossom within you, then you are in the garden. So the doors of the gardens are open in Ramadan, but who will enter? Inshallah, may we all enter. May we all enter through the gates that Allah opens for us in Ramadan. There is also Laylatul Qadr in Ramadan, the night of power or the night of decree, as Allah calls it. And He says it's better than 1,000 months, which is really, when you calculate it, is like 84 years or something like that. So it is worth of a lifetime. When you experience the divine presence, the loving, compassionate divine presence, the strength that Allah can give you, the insight that Allah can give you, the resilience that Allah can give you, the patience, the creativity, the endurance, the mercy, the compassion, the forgiveness. When you experience this, when you experience the divine presence, it is worthy than your lifetime. It is worthy than anything you have ever experienced, because it is what will fulfill you. So you will not feel thirsty again. You will feel you want to become closer to Allah and closer and closer, but you will not feel that despair. You will feel more fulfillment. So the night of power can happen actually any time in the year, but the chance of it happening in Ramadan is increased because we do more acts of worship in Ramadan, because we fast in Ramadan, because we come together in Ramadan. So Ramadan is not only a way to raise a chance that you can experience that divine presence, but it is also a way to improve our relationship with one another. Most of the Muslims across the world in Ramadan, it's a chance to again forgive and reconcile with other people. So at the beginning of Ramadan, if two friends were not talking, if two family members were upset of one another, they call one another in Ramadan and they wish one another a beautiful Ramadan, a blessed Ramadan. And that helps to bring people together, to reconcile and to forgive. So Ramadan is again an opportunity to enter that garden of harmony and reconciliation with your own soul and with people all around you. It's a great opportunity to help those in need, because the blessing of giving charity or feeding the hungry and the homeless in these months is doubled, as we know, or as the Prophet ﷺ told us. So it's the best time to give your obligatory charity. And if you can't fast and you can afford to feed people, then you are obliged to do so. So it's an opportunity to bring this blessing to the world and to chain the evil whispering that tells us maybe you'll run out of money if you feed those people. Ramadan is a chance to close these doors of evil whispering or negative whispering, putting our trust in Allah. Just as you do good to others, you will be helped by others. Actually, you can never outcount what Allah is doing to you. Think about it. A morsel of bread that you eat, how many factors or elements in nature involved in bringing it to you? How many people involved to bring this morsel of bread to you? There is the farmers, the sun, the rain, the water, the air. There is also the workers who carry the harvest, transport it to supermarkets. There are bakers who are baking it. And you also participate in serving humanity. You participate in doing things, but you can never outcount what you receive. Allah always outcount what by giving you even a simple thing. When you really contemplate it deeply, you will find that you're just doing a simple act to participate in this beauty, to be the representative of the divine, of that beauty, of that majesty. And you're always carried, you're always supported, you're always provided for. Even when you were an embryo in the mother, you had no feet, no hands, nothing. Your food came to you, your provision came to you. So yes, we may fall sick. Yes, we may get jobless. Yes, we might have a broken relationship. But trust that Allah will carry you through it. He will bring the people you need. He will bring the healing you need.
Are you ready to go outside?
He is within you, and He also exists within all the people who come to your aid. So Ramadan is a way to awaken us from our slumber, to awaken us to be conscious of Allah, of His abundance, and to trust him. So may we all get the fruits and the abundant blessings that are available for us in Ramadan. And now, if anyone would like to ask specific questions about Ramadan, we have time to go through that, inshallah.
If you'd like to ask a question, you can unmute yourself. If you're joining us from a phone, hit *6.
Could you repeat again? You listed 3 divine names to say during Ramadan for forgiveness and peace of mind.
Yes, I give examples. There are the 99 names. So I gave a couple of examples. And I would suggest not to take them in order necessary, but see what your heart is drawn to. But big 3 names that really, maybe you even feel you don't really understand them or you don't experience them, such as As-Salam. Salam means the peace or the giver of peace, the source of peace. So for a person who feels restless or doesn't have a sense of peace within themselves, maybe Ramadan is an opportunity to call upon Al-Salam all day long, wherever you're driving, before you go to bed, when you woke up of bed. You can call upon As-Salam, invoke Allah As-Salam by repeating that name as much as you could during the day. You can choose any other name such as Al-Mu'min. Al-Mu'min is the faithful. Allah is the source of faith. Faith means trust. It doesn't mean just belief. It means trust. It means security, because it comes from a root verb, amman, which means to bring security, safety. So if you call upon Allah's name Al-Mu'min, that means your faith will increase, which means your trust, your sense of security. So you will not be worried about the future, about what will happen here, what will happen there. It will shed light. So if you accompany As-Salam with Al-Mu'min, accompany your remembrance with As-Salam and Al-Mu'min, and Al-Hadi, the guide, then probably you're restless because there are some problems you have no clue how to solve them. So if you call upon those 3 names, Ya Salam, Ya Mu'min, and Ya Hadi. Hadi also, it means a guide, but it also means the one who calms, from hudu, calm, quietness. So Al-Hadi is guidance, and guidance comes when you are calm. When your mind is calm, when your soul is calm, when your heart is calm, there is room for guidance to emerge, for Allah to receive Allah inspiration of the guidance you need to solve certain problems. So if we call upon Allah, Ya Salam, Ya Mu'min, Ya Hadi, then we will reach a sense of security, and we will find guidance, and we will have a peace of mind. But if we try to solve it by ourselves without the remembrance or the zikr of Allah, what happens is that we are fighting. We are fighting our own selves, our own thoughts. This, no, that, but what about this? And how can I do that? And how come this happens? And we are going through these negative thoughts, and we have no clue. Fighting it, the more we fight it, the more it is magnified, because you're thinking about it. The more it is magnified, the more it becomes difficult. The more we're trapped in that energy, the more we're drained, that excessive energy within us is drained, but not in a healthy, helpful way. So the more we are fighting with ourselves, we are fighting with others also, the more we are exhausted and suffering. But the more we would calm ourselves by Allah's help, by Allah's strength, by Allah's guidance, the more there is room now, neuroplasticity. There is room because your brain is not involved in the same circuit over and over and over again. Something breaks through, and you neurons kind of emerge, receiving the Allah's inspiration, receiving guidance, receiving insights that can shed light for you to understand yourself, to understand others better. And inshallah, by permission of Allah, you will be able to manage the situation. So rather than fighting oneself through one's thoughts, take these thoughts to Allah. Say, Allah, I have this, I am in need, I am vulnerable, I am the poor slave, I'm helpless, I don't know how to deal with this. And you keep invoking Allah's names, then that changes you literally, physically, and mentally, and make a room within you to receive different way of looking at it and different solutions, inshallah. The other examples of names I mentioned is Ya Ghafoor, Ya Ghaffar, Ya Hasib. So Ghafoor and Ghaffar and Afu. Al-Ghafoor is the one who often forgiving. Al-Ghaffar is the one who forgive. You know, there is mistakes we do, and they are small. There are mistakes we do that they have stronger impact. There are mistakes that we repeat, and there are mistakes probably we did once and we got it and we don't repeat them. So the names of Allah, Al-Ghafoor, Al-Ghaffar, they deal with different aspects. So one name deals with how we do one mistakes or one big mistake. Other names, Al-Ghaffar is the one who often keep forgiving, even if we repeat the same mistakes again and again and ask Allah for help sincerely, with honesty and authenticity, then Allah still forgive and open for a way to strengthen ourselves. Well, Al-Hasib is the one who brings to accountability, is the one who also look at the details of the things. And the Al-Afu is the one who pardon to the degree of erasing the mistake. You see, some of our actions get stored in short memory. Some of our actions get stored in our long memory. And all of this is in our consciousness, in our spirit. Our spirit carries these memories. The pardoner, Al-Afu, can erase this memory, even the long memory ones, can erase its pain. So whenever you're exposed to triggers, you will not feel the pain again. And there is short-term memory that can be erased easier because it's not very impactful mistakes or hurt that you happened to you or you did it to another. So, and Al-Hasib is the one who brings to accountability, because we need again to balance between bringing ourselves to accountability, which means acknowledging our mistakes, and between forgiving ourselves, learning, growing, strengthening ourselves, and moving on. There is a way to just bring yourself to accountability and a way to have the courage to ask for forgiveness or to forgive someone. So by calling these names together, you are asking Allah's help to be able to reach to that state of being, to be able to forgive, but also to assess when someone abuses you, and to forgive and to let go, to learn and grow what need to be learned and move on. So during Ramadan, I encourage you, there are two ways to do it. If it takes 3 names in order, the order they are written, or see which names your heart are yearning for, and pick 3 names and call them in that day. Then the next day you can call other 3 names. And of course, everyone different. You might find yourself, you want to go with 3 names the whole week or the whole month. There is no right and wrong when it comes to this. It is just suggestions from me to help you how to start the process. But it is between you and Allah, your heart and Allah, and what your heart is yearning for. So you can try this and see how Allah leads you through it. So don't focus on Ramadan on quantity, focus on the quality. Because many Muslims go in these mistakes. It becomes like a source of bragging. I finished the whole Quran during the month. I finished it twice. But did you really get anything from it? That's the question. So be attentive to your inner states. Be attentive and authentic and honest with Allah and sincere. And follow the guidance. Follow in the quality of what you do. Am I just going 1,000 times Allah, Allah, which is a beautiful attempt, but or I am really doing it with my heart is present and my mental state is present in hearing the sound, in being attentive to what Allah may inspire me, to being really contemplating the meaning of the names as they appear in my life, the names of Allah, as they appear in the life that surrounds me. So there are ways of engaging yourself to help yourself being present with the acts of worship. And again, my advice is to focus on the quality of how you do it rather than the quantity. So I hope that will help. Any other questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Alhamdulillah.
We maybe have time for one more question if anybody would like.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I have a question, Amany.
Sure.
And you said, alhamdulillah, you said that you spoke about schizophrenia, and you said that fasting was good for the neural connections. And I was wondering about other sicknesses of the mind, because I always heard that people who had these didn't have to fast. So I'm not sure.
Actually,
like for example,
yeah. Well, there is a scientific research. I can send you the link if you send me an email and remind me, that proven that intermittent fast helps, especially with the schizophrenia. Now, there is other mental health issues such as anxiety or anxiety disorder or things other than schizophrenia. And it depends again on what the person can take, because some people may be taking medicine and changing the routine may harm them. They have to ask their physician. Some people, fasting might get them in more anxiousness because they are not drinking or eating. So every case is different. They have to ask their physician. But this is the research I read about schizophrenia specifically, that intermittent fasting helped those. That is proven now. Depression, for example, or other things, if the person is able to do it, nobody should force them because they have disorders. So nobody can force them. If they want to try it, they find it beneficial, let it be under the supervision of their physician. If they find it not helpful or make them more anxious or more depressed or something, Allah is merciful. They are already exhausting this excessive energy in whatever they are dealing with, and they are not required to fast. If they could, they can feed the hungry. If they can't, that's fine too. Allah does not burden any soul more than its capacity.
Thank you very much. That was very clear. Ramadan and Mubarak to you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ramadan Mubarak. There was one person I heard.
Assalamu alaikum, Ni'ma.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Ni'ma.
Ramadan Mubarak to everybody, and Alhamdulillah. That was very helpful when you were sharing that the quality over the quantity. I think that really helped me so I can really connect more deeper this Ramadan, as more doors has opened up for me to work during Ramadan. So really being with the qualities that come to my heart, or if not able to recite the whole Quran, whatever I can, alhamdulillah. I guess my question is also, I wanted to know if it's off the topic, but just I was wondering if my fast is broken, you know, now that I'm working, if a man comes to shake my hand or give me a hug, does that break my fast?
You're taking us to the fiqh things, but no, if you shake hands, it's not going to break the fast.
Okay.
The hug, again, it depends on the intention. If the intention is brother, sister, or is it like carry something else that you feel not comfortable with, like something more sexual. If it is sexual, yes, it will break the fast. But if it is pure, just a greeting or just a brother to sister, it's okay. It depends
purely,
on the
it's not me going to hug. So if my boss comes to shake my hand, or an employer or a customer I'm serving, they purely don't know
I
I'm
researched
fasting.
this hadith that sometimes people cite hadith. I researched the hadith about shaking hands. It is fine to shake hands. It is not very authentic hadith, and it's a weak hadith. So you can shake hands. Yes, it is said in some other hadith that the Prophet ﷺ didn't shake hands, but he was a prophet, and he had a specific charisma and a specific energy that maybe he didn't shake hands to protect people. But again, it is from person to person, and it really depends on your trust of the people who are shaking hands of you and your own level of comfort. So those who are not comfortable and like to be in the safe side, they can always say politely during the month of Ramadan, we don't shake hands. But the general rule, according to my research about the hadith about shaking hands, that it is okay. It's okay for a man and a woman to shake hands. I don't want to go too deep into the fiqh, but that is my understanding that I'm sharing with all of you.
Alhamdulillah, thank you.
Alhamdulillah.
So many, we've